everyone. You know, it was this week at work, I suddenly thought, oh gosh, we're nearly into December and before we know it, we're going to be at the end of 2020. And it got me thinking about, you know, if I was to use a word to describe 2020, what would that be? And the word, other than the obvious one, and the word I came up with was flexible. I feel like in so many ways this year, that is what has been required of me, and it continues to be the case. You know, even in my area at work at hospital, I've had to add to my uniform. I've had to work with people I don't usually work with. I've had to adapt my role to the requirements of the situation. I've had to work different hours and shifts. I've had to move offices 4 times already this year, and I'm still not back where I should be, so I've got another move coming up at some point. And you know, it's the same for all of us, isn't it? We've had to remain flexible in so many ways, and we've had so many changes. You know, you might find yourself working from home all the time or not being able to work at all. And we've had to change the ways in which we see our family and friends. We've had to do church differently. I've had to shop differently. I'm spending my free time in a different way. I'm even spending my money differently. And, you know, sometimes this is okay. We can run with changes that is required of us, and we can run with it. And then other days it feels harder, and then other days it can feel near impossible. And sometimes I've actually felt like I've got no more stretch left in me, and I feel quite stiff and not very bendy at all. And you know, feeling that being hemmed in and constriction doesn't just apply to the circumstances of this year. It applies to all our individual, unique circumstances that we have in our lives, not just relating to us, but those close to us. And what do we do when we feel boxed in or hemmed in by circumstance? Well, God has promised that even though we experience every kind of pressure, that we won't be crushed. He has created movement and space, freedom even, despite and within our circumstances. That's the greatest miracle of all. I always feel that, you know, it's not just taking us out of a circumstance, but creating that space and freedom of spirit and mind within that situation. In Psalm 18 it says that he pulled me out of that enemy chaos in which I was drowning, and he stood me up in a wide open field, and that I can stride freely through wide open spaces. So I'm just going to pray for a few minutes, and then I'm going to sing a song called Still, and just allow God's peace to rest on you, and that whatever circumstance you find yourself in, that his peace and his presence is available, and to create that miracle of movement for you, enable us to be free within our circumstances. So dear Lord, I just thank you that you are the lifter of our head, Lord, that you lift our eyes up and above beyond our situation and focus them on you. And Lord, we thank you that you enable us to be flexible. You, in that sense, take down the walls that we feel that we might be contained within, Lord. And I pray that you would reveal to us in a new way that space which you have created for each one of us. Lord, We thank you that there is more and more grace available if we humble ourselves and ask. And Lord, we just ask, Lord, for your help in each of our circumstances where we feel this. And Lord, I pray for your peace and presence in each one of our situations. Amen. In a world in a rush, I will rest and I'll trust in you. I won't fight, I won't strive, but I'll lean all my life on you. You take the pressure off my shoulders, you make my soul a little lighter. In a world in a rush, I will rest and I'll trust in you. In a world in a rush, I will rest and I'll trust in you. I won't fight, I won't strive, but I'll lean all my life on you. You take the pressure off my shoulders, you make my soul a little lighter. In a world in a rush, I will rest and I'll trust in you. You are the still waters to my soul. I will rest in your love. I will be still and know that you're in control. I will rest in your love. In the face of my fears, I will cast all my cares on you. You're the Prince of my peace, I can finally breathe with you. You take the world right off my shoulders, and when I'm anxious, you're the solace. In the